Hello, everyone. Welcome to Feedstuffs 365. I'm Sarah Muirhead. A recent study conducted with livestock veterinarians discovered that they are often misunderstood. Joining us today to discuss these findings is Dr. Jen Roberts, Senior Professional Services Veterinarian, Cattle for Boehringer Ingelheim. Welcome, Jennifer. Great to have you with us today.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for having me.
For those of you that are tuning in, we thank you for being here. If you have any questions for Jen, you can post those there in the chat on your screen. Or if you're joining us from social media, you can simply post your questions directly in those channels. So Boehringer Ingelheim recently marked World Veterinary Day with the release of a global survey of animal owners. And from what I've seen, there's some kind of interesting perspective that you all gained from that survey. Before we get into the detail, tell us a little bit about the survey in general. How was it conducted and why was it conducted? Why was it thought to be something that you needed to take a look at?
Yeah, Going Beyond was introduced in 2024. So last year we conducted a survey of veterinarians, and this year we wanted to ask animal owners what their perceptions were of veterinary professionals. And the reason we decided to do this was part of an initiative to bring awareness to some of the well-being challenges that are faced by veterinarians. And we also wanted to highlight the unwavering dedication, resilience, and passion that veterinarians have who are out there caring for all species of animals. The goal really was to help veterinarians feel seen and appreciated and motivated in their daily work.
And you found out they're kind of misunderstood. Is that what?
Yeah.
Kind of some confusion. So walk us through, what were some of the key insights to come out of the survey?
Yeah, so this survey was really unique in that it included 1,200 animal owners from around the globe. So Europe, the United States, Asia, all around the globe. And what we found was that animal owners that were surveyed actually perceived veterinarians to have better work-life balance than first responders, doctors, lawyers, and teachers. But when we look at the 2024 survey results of veterinarians, 48% of those veterinarians said that they felt that animal owners underappreciated the way that they trade off their work-life balance to help animals. And so I think there's a little bit of a disconnect there between how veterinarians feel in terms of the level of appreciation and the perception of the clients and the animal owners with the long hours that veterinarians are putting in. There's some, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that, part of that disconnect is that animal owners may only see just a little snapshot of a day in the life of a veterinarian. They may be at the veterinary clinic for just a well visit for their new puppy, and they don't realize that the veterinarian is going to the very next room to have a very heart-wrenching experience having to put someone's beloved pet to sleep. And so, there's that piece. There's also the very long hours that some animal owners may not be aware of veterinarians putting in. I myself, as a cattle veterinarian, when I was in practice, I spent a lot of hours on the road driving long distances between client farms, many nights on call and weekends on call. And I was also a practice owner. So, I was a small business owner. And so not only did I have the pressure of helping my clients with the health of their animals, but I also had staff members whose livelihood depended on the success of our business. And so after I was done with my veterinary work, I was also having to balance being a practice owner and doing all of those administrative duties that are required when you're a small business owner.
Exactly. And you probably have it there when you're talking about what we see as pet owners taking our cat or our dog or whatever to a clinic, that's open from a certain hours, and they just don't see what's going on, particularly when it comes to the large animal vets, and they're going out and, like you say, driving all over and taking care of cattle or pigs on farms. And That's just a whole nother thing that just isn't something consumers are probably even privy to seeing. So they probably don't even take that into consideration when they're answering surveys like this. So is that a fair assessment, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. And, there's also such a wide range of activities that veterinarians do in their daily work. Everything from companion animal veterinarians who are helping to support well-being of their clients by helping to promote that human animal bond, by helping to maintain the health of those animals. And then the livestock veterinarians who are caring for animals that are ultimately going to contribute to our, animal owners may not always be aware. Pets, they may not have awareness of the role that livestock veterinarians have in maintaining a safe food supply.
Exactly. So then what's the next step? What's something that can be done to kind of close that gap, close that disconnect? Is it education? Is it just showing what's going on, kind of opening the door for consumers? Are you guys working on anything like that, or what's your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I think that education is a big part of bringing more awareness to what veterinarians are doing. As part of the survey, there's a high level of trust and appreciation expressed by clients for veterinarians. So in this most recent survey, we found that 91% of animal owners believe that veterinarians are important or even essential to our society. And that like 93% of them appreciated the level of care that their veterinary teams were providing. And so there's this very high degree of trust and appreciation for veterinarians, but not as much awareness of the impacts that some of the long hours and the stressors of the job can have on the well-being of veterinary professionals. And so I think that educating animal owners and the general public about some of those stressors that are facing veterinary professionals can really go a long way. If we don't know that, or if the animal owners don't know that veterinarians don't feel appreciated, they don't know to express that appreciation to them. And so I think just getting the word out, even something as simple as saying thank you to the veterinarian, or it was like the highlight of our day if we got a little note in the mail from a client that we had helped, and just a simple little note that says, thanks for the time that you took taking care of my animal. And Boehringer has promoted some activities, particularly during months where there's a focus on promoting mental health, where we provide little note cards for people to send out to their veterinary teams to express appreciation. And so I think those are some key next steps, just education and supporting some of those initiatives.
Because veterinarians, I believe, are still pretty high up on that influencer list. I mean, they're very highly trusted when it comes to what they're talking about and the advice that they give, which is always a positive thing. Do you look at that at all in the survey? I know you probably look at it on a regular basis, but was that something that's measured, and have you seen any change there?
That wasn't something that was included in this survey, but that is a statistic that has commonly been shared, is that veterinarians are highly respected and highly regarded within their communities. Veterinarians are often very active in their communities through other civic organizations, and so we have a lot of visibility within our communities, and I think that's where some of that trust comes from.
Well, and something else that we've been hearing a lot about out there is this kind of a shortage of veterinarians. It's people are, not really going into the profession. So probably some of that might tie into what we're talking about here in terms of not feeling like they would be appreciated, just not feeling like it's something they want to do when it actually is a very noble profession.
Yeah, there certainly are some staffing shortages that can impact the well-being of veterinarians. That contributes to some of the long hours. If we think about livestock practices where the cattle veterinarians are on call all week long, all day long, to take care of animals on farm. If there's fewer people there at the clinic to participate in that on-call rotation, that means even longer hours for those veterinarians. And so that certainly can impact their well-being.
What final thoughts do you want to leave our audience with here today?
I think I would just like to highlight, some of the things that Boehringer is doing as a company to really bring awareness to some of the challenges faced by veterinarians within our profession. And we're really committed to supporting veterinarians throughout their career journey. And so that starts with the veterinary student. So we do have some programs where we are supporting veterinary students through things like our Veterinary Scholars Program that provides summer internships. And so that program has actually been going on for over 30 years to provide support to students who are interested in biomedical research. We also partner with veterinary schools at universities to provide educational resources and scholarships to help those students get off on the right foot in their careers. And then once they get into the veterinary profession, Boehringer also supports a wide range of well-being initiatives to promote professional well-being. And one that I have been closely working with is our well-being initiative called Embrace Wellbeing. And that's kind of our umbrella initiative that was started within our pets team. And then our equine team has their platform called The Stable Life. And on the cattle team, I've been working with ours that we've called Share the Weight. And so all of these programs or these platforms are designed to be educational opportunities as well as conversational opportunities. It's an opportunity for veterinarians to get together, share some of the challenges that they're facing in their daily work, and just open up and talk about that, but also focus on some of the things that we can do on a daily basis to prioritize our well-being, whether that's focusing on our physical health or our mental health. And I've done several meetings with veterinary clinics, and it has just been such a wonderful opportunity to sit down with my veterinary colleagues and give them the time and the space to share some of those stressors that are facing them in their daily work, and just know that there's somebody there to listen and to help them work through some of that. And so those are a few of the things that Boehringer has done recently to really help support our veterinary professionals and have allowed me to support my colleagues.
Sometimes those are hard conversations to initiate. So when you're actually going in and talking to them about it, that probably makes it a lot easier to come out and admit that you're having some issues with someone else is a little tougher than as a group or one-on-one, knowing someone's listening and someone's able to give a little advice here and there. So kudos to you all for doing that. Dr. Jen Roberts of Boehringer Ingelheim, thank you so much for your time today, Jen, and for bringing awareness to this important issue.
Thanks for having me.
Likewise, we appreciate all of you tuning in. Until next time, for Feedstuffs, I'm Sarah Muirhead.